Welcome back to another episode of 40 Facts About the 40K Universe. I am your host, Gershwan, and today we're going to be talking about a demon prince by the name Kor Megron. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. We post Warhammer 40K lore videos every single day. If you have any suggestions for any topics or any characters that you guys would like us to talk about, please let me know in the comments section below. And if you enjoy our content, thank our patrons on Patreon. It is because of them that we can do this. Link in the description if you guys want to support us. But with that said, let's get into 40 facts on the demon prince, Kor Megron. Within the hierarchy of the Chaos Forces, there are a few that can be elevated to the rank of a demon prince. To achieve demonhood is a reward only bestowed on the most beloved servants of a Chaos God. Even rarer still is a demon prince created by the will of Chaos Undivided. This means that all four major Chaos Gods have chosen one devotee to become the living extension of their power. These undivided demon princes are usually great leaders of coalitions of chaos forces that can rival that of a Black Crusade. For the most part, it is the Chaos Space Marines that can trace back their existence to the dark days of the Horus Heresy that could even achieve such an hypothesis. Such was the case for the Dark Apostle of the Wordbearer's Traitor Legion, Kor Megron. Following the defeat of Horus, Kor Megron continued to fight the long war against the hated Corpse Emperor, seeking to undo everything that he had created as a once loyal Astartes. Over the passage of 10,000 standard years, the Forsworn had continued to assail mankind. At Hyperon Primus, they defiled the reclusium of Saint Benefactors and piled the weakling dead 5,000 high. Throughout the bloodied night of the Faith Scouring, they hunted down and executed the 9 blessed cardinals of Anapon. The Forsworn also slaughtered St. Chrysabel and her immortal bodyguards. For an entire millennia, they crusaded across the galaxy, but it wasn't until the cardinal world of Roadax that Kor Megron would perpetrate his greatest work and be granted the boon of demonhood by the ruinous powers. The vile Dark Apostle fought a brutal war of attrition for over a period of 3 solar months against the forces of the Imperium. As the streets of Roadax filled with bloated corpses, Kor Megron's bolter ran dry. He continued to fight on towards the Basilica of St. Patch, a shrine devoted to a beloved Imperial saint to whom the world now looked for salvation. He slew the servants of the Corpse Emperor with his ancient power sword, until the energy cells powering the weapon ran completely out, and the blade had to be snapped off in the spine of a shambling Oghren. Not disillusioned by the temporary setback, Kor Megron continued to fight on with his armored fists. Together with his warband, he assailed the Imperial defenders on the steps of the fallen temple. The 14th Cadian Shock Troop Regiment of the Imperial Guard attacked the war host in mass. 2,000 of their soldiers storming the marble staircase of the Basilica, but the word-bearers pushed them back. Though many of the remaining word-bearers were wounded and they were running low on ammunition, they remained unbowed. While his men continued to fight, Kor Megron toppled the 40-foot-tall statue of St. Patch, piling the bodies of the Cadian dead around it to form a blasphemous mold upon the consecrated grounds of the Basilica. Now bolstered by the agents of the Inquisition, the Cadians attacked once more. Kor Megron stood upon the mound of the dead, roaring his devotion to the ruinous powers and offering up the piles of the Imperial dead as a dark sacrifice. For his unflinching loyalty and dedication to chaos, the Lords of the Warp rewarded their devoted servant with ascension to demonhood on that same very spot. Seething with barely restrained power, Kor Megron's body transformed, twisted by the warping powers of chaos. Where once stood a proud and strong Chaos Space Marine, now towered an almighty demon prince. The word-bearers roared with exultation at their lord's transformation, fighting on with a renewed vigor, for they had now been blessed by the dark gods. The demon prince ripped the marble blade free of the statue of St. Patch and transformed it into a twisting and corrupted weapon of cruel destruction with his newborn chaotic powers. Kor Megron strode forth and wreaked terrible slaughter upon the Imperial defenders of Roadax. Soon after, Roadax was declared a dead world by the Inquisition, drifting lifeless in the void of space, a mute witness to the fury and hate of Kor Megron, the Reaper of Roadax. For all of this blasphemy and desecration committed by Kor Megron and the Forsworn, it wasn't until later in the 41st millennium that they tried to achieve their greatest desire, to undo their great works on ancient Idolan, to cast down its ancient glories, throw down the tarnished symbols of their devotion to the Emperor, and slaughter all who stood in their way. In preparation of their grand offensive against the world of Idolan, the Forsworn sought out alliances with scores of Chaos Space Marine warbands, calling upon blood debts from 10,000 years of warfare and offering the choice of spoils for those who would join their cause. Through the sinister coordination of Kor Megron and the Forsworn, a mighty alliance of Chaos Space Marines and later their demonic allies assailed Idolan and the nearby worlds. Such overwhelming assaults and universal cooperation is normally a province of a Black Crusade. That so many Chaos Space Marine warbands answered the call speaks volumes of Kor Megron's power of manipulation. And so launching a series of diversionary attacks across multiple worlds of the Caradon sector, the large assembly of traitor legions fought the Imperial forces to a standstill. So much had already gone against the Imperial forces in the Idolan system in such a short space of time that the citizens of Idolan itself were all but doomed. Astropathic cries for help were sent far and wide in the hope of yielding still more aid. As a dedicated shrine world, the major settlements of Idolan each boasted a few thousand defenders, but the planet was ill-prepared for a full-scale invasion. Help was at hand, however, as a sizable portion of Crusade Group Black Gate was diverted from their mission to reinforce the Imperial efforts in the Damocles Gulf. A battle-ready contingent of Imperial Guard was hurried into the system, the Imperial battle fleet escorting the Imperial Navy's bulk transports to Idolan before rushing off to harry the Chaos forces. The troops that arrived dramatically bolstered the undermanned planetary defense force and included 9 regiments of Cadian shock troops, as well as small detachments of other Imperial Guard regiments, such as Venton Heavy Infantry, Volstrayan Firstborn, Valhallan Ice Warriors, and a company of Orn's World Militia. But soon a massive Chaos Space Marine flotilla appeared in high orbit over Idolan. Bolstered by forces from the Black Legion, the Forsworn had returned after 10,000 Terran years to undo their folly. Together the 2 legions of Chaos Space Marines forged onward towards Idolan and the Grand Cathedral there. At that time, more reinforcements arrived as Red Corsairs, Night Lords, and other traitors flocked to the cause. Against such fury, the Imperial Guard was grievously outmatched. Despite their losses, however, the heroism of the Imperial Guardsmen of Idolan was astonishing. Even so, the Chaos Space Marines surged forward, overrunning defenses and smashing resistance as they closed in on the capital city. Whenever effective resistance was mounted, Kor Megron and his allies overcame it. The tactical wisdom and outright savagery of the Chaos Space Marines, veterans of countless wars, proved its worth against the brave men of the Imperial Guard over and over again. With the Chaos Force less than a day's travel from the capital of Idolan, and the Imperial Guard finding their every gambit overcome, the defenders looked heavenward in desperation and beheld a miracle. The Scions of Ultramar had arrived. The second company and a small first of the first company veteran Marines had been hastily diverted to the planet by their chapter master, Marnius Calgar. Receiving his instructions with barely disguised enthusiasm, Captain Cato Sicarius, the leader of the relief force, had diverted his battle force with all haste. As the Chaos Space Marines swarmed towards the outer walls of the cathedral, the Ultramarines would deploy en masse in support of the Imperial Guard, and there, before the gates of the capital city, the warriors of Ultramar would throw back the hordes of chaos. For the forces of the Imperium, the frantic battle fought across the outer curtain wall of Idol City is remembered as one of tragic loss and heroic sacrifice. Official Imperial records refer to this as the Battle of Eagle Gate, a frenzied and violent engagement that left a battlefield littered with bodies and broken war machines and a sizable portion of Idol City's east quarters ablaze. Throughout the entire thing, the hateful wrath of the Demon Prince drew not only the Forsworn together, but also forged the great alliance between the Chaos Space Marines and Renegade warbands. Indeed, as the fighting within the city reached its zenith, it was Kor Megron who brought together the summoning of the demonic host. More than 200 Chaos Space Marines from the Wordbearers Legion were present in that final assault. First into the fray were the Sons of Damnation, vile traitors who laid claim to diabolical deeds stretching all the way back to the siege of the Emperor's Palace during the Battle of Terra at the height of the Horus Heresy. Focusing their offensive against the main temple, the Sons of Damnation's Chaos Terminator Squad carved a bloody path toward the heart of the Imperial lines. The Chaos Space Marine forces were bolstered by warriors from the Black Legion, few of whom were as influential or as cruel as the Corpse Makers. This 20-strong squad of traitors and murderers battered their way into the breach until the Ultramarines Terminator Squad Argon ended their bloody advance. The bloodthirsty coronet berserkers of Gladiator Group 138 were also crucial in the Chaos assault. With chain axes wailing, they smashed through the Eagle's Gate, butchering the defenders, and then continuing into the waiting guns of the Imperial Guard. Kragon Gorefist earned the Slaughter Crown for his brutality. At the end, the wrath of the Forsworn and their allies was halted before the Gate of Martyrs, the great eastern portal into the city. There a hastily gathered force of Space Marines and Imperial Guardmen made their final stand. Kor Megron hurled himself at the defenders, determined to slaughter his way through. In the face of such fury, Cato Sicarius stood firm as the Demon Prince brought down his accursed weapon in sweeping arcs, hammering the Space Marine captain with such ferociousness that his knees buckled, and finally his Tempest blade was notched and chipped. With a clawed foot, Kor Megron stomped Sicarius to the floor, cracking his breastplate and grinding him down. Triumphantly, the word-bearers raised his blade high, braving the victory to the skies. The killing blow never fell, however. A nearby Imperial Guardsman, seeing the mighty Astarte captain in mortal danger, forgot his fear and hurled himself at the towering Demon Prince. As his bayonet plunged into the infernal beast's flesh, the course of the battle and the fate of the entire planet shifted forever. Kor Megron, distracted, turned his gaze upon the brave Imperial Guardsman and burned him to ash in a torrent of warped flame. This distraction was all that the Ultramarine captain needed. In the blink of an eye, Sicarius jammed his blade upward, past the breastplate and into his heart. With a skull-rending scream, the Demon Prince was dragged into the warp. Stunned at the loss of their leader, and worn to the breaking point by the defenders, the forces of chaos began to fall back, retreating under a sustained bombardment. For the Imperium, this victory was won at a great cost. For the legions of chaos, there would be another reckoning. And those were 40 facts on the Demon Prince Kor Megron. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Now before you click out, I want to show you guys this image. This is a Hammerfall drop turret, and it looks awesome. Ever since I played Dawn of War, I've always wanted Games Workshop to create some type of turret that could act as a support piece for my infantry, whether it's Space Marine, Orcs, whatever it is. The fact that the Primaris Marines are going to get it, I know a lot of people online are angry at the fact that like Primaris are getting so much attention, but like that's Space Marine, that's always been the case. But what this means is that if we get a drop turret, then eventually other Xeno races will also hopefully get something similar. Kind of like when it was the first people to ever get a flyer was obviously Space Marines, and then after that, every single faction got a flyer. So the fact that we're getting, or Primaris, I keep saying we are, as if I'm playing Primaris already, I'm not yet. But the fact that Primaris is getting this awesome turret just gives me hopes for like a cool ass like orc conversion later on in the future, and it looks way better than what you see in the background, that little baby turret, or I guess it's an artillery piece that I don't like at all. I think it just doesn't fit with like what Games Workshop usually creates. It looks like some type of third-party something, like an unfinished piece basically. But this is awesome. What do you guys think? Comment down below. I hope you guys enjoyed the lore of Kor Megron. I hope this inspires you guys to go out and actually create, lore based around a Demon Prince, because it's really easy just to get the kit of the Demon Prince, which is basically a demon or an unbound, and then you have your little options for all the different little chaos gods and stuff like that. But hopefully this lore inspires you to actually create a backstory as to how your chaos champion, whether he was a chaos space marine or not, elevated to a Demon Prince. If you guys have suggestions for any other topics, please let me know in the comment section below. I hope you guys are enjoying the content. Thank our patrons on Patreon. It's just because of them that we can do this. Link in the description if you guys want to support us. But thanks for listening, guys. And I can't wait to talk to you guys about this awesome new Primaris piece in the comment section. This was Gershwan with One Mind Syndicate signing out.
Oh, I used to put my freedom first in any situation.